Hello, Team 19. I hope everyone's had a very relaxing weekend because next weekend is not going to be that. This video is just to give you some more insight and understanding around the logistics and the mechanisms involved with miniMAD, the shifts in terms of how they're going to work on the road, as well as how base camp is actually going to be run. We've had to make a couple adjustments and a few changes. So I think the theme of this year's miniMAD is literally hashtag rock up and run. This is just the practice. If we don't use it, it's like a budget version. So there's a lot of things that we need to kind of shift around and move around, which actually makes miniMAD a little bit more difficult than the main event would actually be. So I hope that makes you feel a little bit better, that miniMAD is going to be hard, yes, but once that's over and we all understand the shifts and the logistics and how everything works, that when we get together on the main event, actually things run quite smoothly, and it's a very slow, easy process. It's not as time crunched as miniMAD will feel. So why we've had to make a few adjustments is because we were waiting on a logistic/vehicle partner, and I can announce that we have found one, which is a miracle. We have found this company, Bus Truck, actually through one of the runners who are part of the very first team, and this company, Bus Truck South Africa, they're going to be supplying all of the vehicles that we need. So, and from a 9-ton truck to custom building a bike trailer for us, we're going to have everything that we need for the main event. And along with Dev, one of our runners from this year, has actually organized us a 60-seater bus, also at no cost to us. So all of our logistics are sorted out for the main event, but we do have a few hiccups for miniMAD. That being that we don't have as many vehicles available to us for the weekend, as well as that they're going to have to come along with drivers because we're not going to have time to get specific insurance in place. So what I want to show you, sorry, I'm using this tool called Zoom. I'm going to show you a document. Right. So this is the updated miniMAD document, and I will email this through to everybody. But I want to just take you through it and try and explain and answer any questions that you might have. But please feel free to give me a shout during the week if there's something else you'd like to know. Okay. So first thing that you need to know is this timeline table. Here is very important. We need everybody at Base Camp 1 at 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. Okay, we need to cover a whole lot of admin at that time. We need to get you to sign indemnity forms. We need to get a hard copy of your ID as well as your medical aid card. And we're going to start scouting out where the tents are going to be pitched. So that's going to be happening from 4 o'clock till 5 o'clock. Then at 5 o'clock, you'll have your safety and security briefing from Sean. He is going to just speak to you around how to, navigate with the pace vehicle, how to run safely, what are the sort of precautions you need to take, as well as just chatting to you a little bit more about when you're in the car, who's responsible for doing what, and how those changeovers are actually going to happen. And the first shift of runners are actually going to be starting at 6 p.m. So it is critical that everybody's there, and please, I do need everybody in there, mad to run t-shirt for that very first shift. We are going to have a film crew there actually filming the start, so that would be very important. And then our run actually finishes at 8 a.m. on the Sunday, after which we'll have a team breakfast, a bit of a debrief, and then we will hop onto buses and pace vehicles and things like that and head straight back to Pirates. So guys, essentially where logistics would or could work, so either you're going to drive yourself from work to Pirates on Friday, or you're going to catch an Uber to Pirates on Friday. There will be security there, so we're going to lock the cars up for the weekend, and when the buses and pace vehicles, shuttle vehicle, everything brings us back from Pirates to Pirates on Sunday morning, your car will be there, or you can catch a ride with somebody or Uber yourself back home. So, if you do drop your car off at Pirates on Friday, it should be safe. Right, so that is the address for Pirates, as well as the address for our Base Camp 2, which is the Anatomic Factory in Parys. Okay, right. What you'll see here is the changes that we've had to make. So we've now got our 2 crews going into 2 pace vehicles. So green crew is going to be in your, what would be a normal size pace vehicle, which gets modified into a 6-seater car with the back seats taken out with 2 single mattresses at the back. So you have space to sit or space to lie down, stretch, sleep, cuddle in the back. And our yellow pace vehicle, which is in a super size pace vehicle, which has been modified to be a 10-seater vehicle with the back seats taken out, which will also have 2 mattresses at the back. What you'll see here that's different is that there's no distinction now between who's runner and who's a driver, because we're going to have the drivers that have been supplied to us by Bus Truck actually driving the cars. They, however, are going to have 0 responsibility around navigation. It is still your team's responsibility to know where you need to be and at what time. Okay, that really is the critical component to actually getting this moving in the timelines that get set out. So for yellow crew, this is where the, the gears of just rock up and run is going to have to really take center stage. It's then very difficult to set up specific kilometers that people can, run sequentially, but rather you're going to have a number of people in the car. So you're probably looking at 10, 11 people in a car, and we need everybody to still try and run their 15 kilometers. So you're going to have 3 or 4 people running at the same time. So it is something you just have to get a feel for it. You will arrive, you'll start at Pirates, and you will have time to have a little bit of a discussion about, who wants to be the first 2 or 3 runners to actually start that responsibility. And then you can decide, do you want to run 5Ks, take a break, 5Ks, take a break? Do you want to run 15? And everybody will just kind of have to figure out how to cover that 60 Ks with everybody still trying to get their kilometers in. If you want to run more, please do run more. If you feel like you are not quite there, or you've got a little bit of nerves and you want to run a little bit less, it's okay, because the responsibility is slightly different to what it would be for the main event, where you actually have to cover your kilometers. So yellow shifts, just try and make sure that you're covering your kilometers, and you try and run at a pace, like if you're running in any kind of group setting, that everybody's running at a comfortable pace. If you can't keep up, rather hop into the pace vehicle and see if you can hit, with somebody else and try and cover your case at a different time. Right, now let's actually explain how the shifts are going to work, right? It's slightly easy for shift 1. You're all going to pile into the cars at Pirates, and you're just going to go. Okay. What is important is the beginning of every single shift that you start the odometer at 0. That is how we actually keep track of how many kilometers you have gone. So what is important is to please make sure that you actually follow this Strava link, and you don't have to have signed up with Strava to actually access it, but I am going to open up the link here. Right. Here is our Strava route all the way from Johannesburg out to Parys. So we do a little bit of a run out through the cradle, down through the south of Joburg, bit of a squiggle out here, and into Parys. So what is important to understand is, how do you know, if you're then in shift 2, how to get to the 60K mark and by when? Right, so what you'll see is, let's take this for an example. So shift 1 starts at 6 o'clock and it will end at midnight. So on our main WhatsApp group, that is purely going to be used for communication purposes. So what becomes very important is that the crew on the road are constantly communicating as to how many Ks they've done, sharing pins, live locations, and things like that, so that the crew, the second crew or the next crew coming up, actually has a heads up of knowing, because sometimes you're going to run a little bit faster or a little bit slower, which is absolutely fine, guys, and you're going to have people in your pace vehicle who are going to run faster than you, and you're going to have people in your pace vehicle that run slower than you. It all averages out in the end, but it's also just important to have communication in case you are really behind or you're really ahead of what you actually thought. So everyone needs to know, so that we can actually plan. There's only going to be one shuttle vehicle. So green and yellow, you don't necessarily have to stick near each other, but that one shuttle vehicle that's going to come through with all of the shift 2 runners have to relieve both yellow and green. So then we're going to get to midnight, which means if you have a look over here, these spots are our changeover spots and at what time. So this is where it becomes really important that everybody understands, okay, I'm in shift 2, which means at midnight, I need to be at the 60K mark, which is here, the R563. So what that means I need to do is I need to go and open up my Strava map, and I need to go and find the road, okay? And this can get slightly tedious, but I'm just gonna find it quickly because I do know where it is. There we go, the R53. So this is out by the Sterkfontein Caves, so that's pretty cool. So what becomes important is you go and you find your road and you find your spot. So now you know, right, we need to leave Pirates to get out to the Sterkfontein Caves by midnight. And so it's important to start putting that into your GPS or putting it into Waze. Now it gives you an idea of about how far away you are. Then you will know what time you need to leave. And again, guys, there's going to be, on average, or on the main event, there's going to be 18 of you getting into one shuttle vehicle to go. So don't feel too much pressure, but if everybody knows where they need to be, makes it a lot easier. You guys will then need to make sure that you have packed your bag and everything that you need, your car boxes, your food, your drinks, everything, and you need to leave Pirates that you can be at that spot at midnight. Okay, so you guys will be watching the WhatsApp group. You'll get an idea of exactly what time they'll be getting there. Shift 1 will stop at the 60-kilometer mark. They will stop their vehicles. They will drop a pin. Shuttle vehicle will come and meet them. This is now what we call a changeover. So what that means, and we do need these to run quite smoothly and quite quickly. It is very exciting to see your friends and how did it go, and it's very exciting. But if we take too long in the changeovers, it delays all of our time. And especially with one pace vehicle having twice as many people in it, we are hoping it doesn't take twice as long. So you will have big dustbin bags in your pace vehicle. It will always be important to be courteous and to leave the pace vehicle as you found it. So please use those trash bags, put all of your rubbish and things in there, collect everything that's yours. A top tip here might actually be to label your things, especially when we get to main event. We've all got the same kind of shirts and shorts and socks, that you label everything and you know what is yours. Right, so then what you'll do is you will have your changeover. So everybody, and I'll explain the food a little bit separately though, but you'll take everything that's yours, you'll get into the shuttle vehicle, that shuttle vehicle is going to go back to Pirates. So the shuttle vehicle will always go back to the closest base camp. For miniMAD, that first shuttle back to base camp, shift 2 then begins. And you will then run from midnight until 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, at 6 a.m., at the 120-kilometer mark, there is then on the other side of Randfontein, you will see the next changeover point. Again, it's about going back to the map, mapping out your 60 Ks, and it's around about here. So you will then also work out, if I need to be there at 6 a.m. in the morning, what time do I need to leave Pirates? So I will also explain base camp separately, just so that you understand. So I hope that that makes sense in terms of how the shifts are going to work. So when you are finished your run, okay, you get into the shuttle vehicle and you guys will drive back to the nearest base camp. All right. Then it's up to crew 3 to check when they need to go for their third shift. The end of shift 3, okay, what we've got scheduled here right in the middle of it is what we call a recoup. What that means is it is a space of time where nobody's actually running. There's 2 reasons why we do this. 1 is to try and get everybody together. And 2, it's the fat in case we take too long. In miniMADs gone by, we never have this time because the changeovers always take too long and we never have it. So it's there as a buffer. But what we've ideally like to plan is that everybody then will be in Paris at this time to have lunch. We've got a big braai planned. The riders will be riding in. We're hoping to all have lunch together during that time. So shift 3, when you are finished, no one's coming to relieve you. You will get into the pace vehicles, okay, and you will just drive straight to Anatomic with the address there. Okay, then we'll have lunch, and then shift 3 will go out to their point, start, and we just get straight back onto the route and continue. So that's kind of how the running relay works.